You catch me here at Melting Point, which was actually my first record shop where I've been record shopping back in the days. But it was, before it was somewhere else, but it was always Berlin Mitte, Prenzlauer Berg. And it started all, like my whole story started like with the radio. And after a radio career, I started to become a DJ. And then of course I had to buy the records that I anyway bought for my radio show. I played them out at my club gigs. When I started my career and came here, I had always the record shop dealer, and he gave me always the best records after all the superstar DJs already had their records. So he kind of influenced me, and this is where you catch me now is more like a shop for house music, for deep house back in the days. And actually this really gave me already a certain point of what kind of sound I was playing, which is nowadays, I guess, sometimes a little bit missing for all these young people, because when you go online, you have every Monday 25,000 new records, and to find your own taste or your direction into this could be a little bit more difficult. So I was always happy to go to a record shop and had someone special person who guided me into the music. Techno section is actually quite small, and of course they have all this normal thing like here Clockworks, Ben Klock, who's a Berliner who we know all since he started actually also as a house DJ, by the way. And Josh Wink is here under techno, okay, could be. And this is quite interesting. This is a record of Freestyle Man at Sasse. We're going to share a studio together, the Black Hat Studios, and he's coming from Finland, and he did a record with Jimmy Tenor, which is actually quite good. And it's nice that I see it here. And I just saw something. Oh, I love this guys. My favorite Italian guys. It's they live in Berlin. It's a duo called Super Deon, and they did a record on Rekids, and they have an own label called Super Deon Records. Mind Condition is also really nice because they do a lot of re-release of old stuff. Always the same cover. But as I say, normally I'm going because all the new stuff I get mostly, and then for me it's really interesting to find some classic to buy, to find some rare things but normally no one has. Of course you have your certain labels and your certain artists where you always where you're always waiting for the next release. But when I go and want to go into more the classic section, I'm always open for surprises. I'm a huge Underground Resistance fan, and this is actually the Living for the Night. It's quite like a house. It's always my thing that I'm always in between house and techno. You can't use the word tech house nowadays because it has such a kind of a, not bad taste, but you know, but I'm always in between. This is so, the early Underground Resistance things, they're always in between. So techno with a lot of soul and groove. Okay, we're gonna go to the long players. Oh, this is a really nice one. Really cool. Magic and shit. Oh, my favorite album. I love everything. It's Drexciya actually. Oh my god, he has, I don't know how many names he has and alias for work, but this is one of my favorite all-time album. I have so much respect for people that are still doing albums, because especially in dance music or electronic music, music is counting not so many days and times nowadays, and album is so much effort, and I really have respect for each artist who's still doing this. And so I think we should more listen to albums. For me, it was really difficult when we had to change from vinyl to the first CDs, you know, because I could remember a lot of things about the artwork, and all my bag was packed with that I straight know, okay, this record, I know exactly what the sound was. And when we first changed to CDs, it was for me quite difficult. And then I tried always to copy the cover and to put it, so I had one CD, one EP was a completely CD, so I had a huge bag. And nowadays I had to change with all these files and to organize my USB sticks. We have some different little keywords, you know, this changed. So unfortunately, this also means that artwork is for me nowadays, if I related it to music, it's not so important than it was before, but it's sometimes really inspiring and really nice to see it. So like I said before, the classic section is for me, when I go record shopping, always interesting, especially also to get new ideas and even for just to have it to, I would not say sampling, but you can. So it's always interesting because there's a lot of stuff out there what I didn't get during this time or what I almost forgot. And this is good to have. It was a really deep house on the House record shop, and back in the days the deep house people were a little bit, well, come on, let's say arrogant, but you were like into this, yeah, we are in this deep house. So I remember here was actually never ever a trance section. So this changed by the years because like nowadays trance is quite common and it's getting cool again, and there were these new kids and they interpret this completely different, so now it's a huge thing. So and even you find here in Melting Point a little trance section, which is really funny. Beginning the 90s, when you had a really hot track, and of course there was no other format, you made a dub plate and it was cost you a lot of money, but you want to have this track already on vinyl, and dub plates has a really special smell. It's actually quite sexy. You should do a perfume out of it, just saying, but remember I said it first. You see the Germany section back in the days when I started my first record label and I started DJ career. The German record labels, they were super big, and there was especially the Berlin labels. Now it's getting a little bit small, but it's still interesting. Oh, Scenario is a really good one. It's from Sebo K. Really love his work and his label. I want to listen to this. Down under the normal things, you find the interesting stuff. Crazy. Oh my God, I loved him so much. Henry Street, I have a lot of things at home also. It's interesting. Oh my God, I remember this. Oh, Isolé is still like amazing. Love him so much. Drum plate, 4 tracks, wow. Palette. Oh, so Nachtkollektiv, also from Berlin, really good. It was quite a big thing to go to the record shop because there were the cool guys and there were the cool music, so it took a while to feel comfortable. And then, of course, in Berlin there was this rule every Wednesday when the new records came. You know, there was always the superstar DJs coming in at lunchtime, and when they had their sorting and their records, then people like me were allowed to look into it. Wow, I really like this Superdeons guys, both from close to Napoli, I guess, and such an unbelievable, cool, fresh techno sound. And I just talked to Mitch, the owner of the record shop, where I can find them, and he said, I don't know if I put them into techno or house, and it's the same thing, story of my life. And it's so modern and so refreshing, and it's so Detroit, where I started all my, going out, and where I lost actually my heart. It's also Superdeon, Sounds of Your Mother's Mothers, and let's check this. Oh, it feels so good with the vinyl.
We come to you offering our songs and the songs of our mothers.
I love it. It's also Superdeon, it's also the Italian Detroit version. It's amazing. I had a lot of discussions with friends and when we went record shopping, when I just like hear the 10 seconds, I don't know, it's not maybe very good, but I'm really quick in my decisions. Okay, let's listen to this. It's Jimmy Tenor together with Freestyle Man. And I'm an old, huge fan of Jimmy Tenor, and of course also of Freestyle Man because he's a friend, it's Zasse. I did my first remix on his label Mute Music. And Jimmy Tenor is also both Finnish kind of electro-pop. So let's see what they did. It's on Studio Bahnhof, I guess. It's almost jazz. It's fantastic. It's music which I would not probably play during my sets, but definitely something for the radio show because it's really, you can reach a lot of people with this and even get people more into this electronic music than not. Seb Ockay, for me, one of the best producers in Berlin. He was as an old friend. We did the first records together. I had him on as an artist on my old label, and now he started his own thing. It's called Scenario, and it's a really good house producer. It's a typical Seb Ockay. It just took, because I know him since so many years, so it took me like 5 seconds and I can really recognize him. Nice one, typical Seb Ockay. Really good. Okay, let's come to the old classic, and I'm looking for this actually since a long time. I heard this on in the World Wide Web, and now I found it here, which is really good because it's an old underground resistance, and it's called "Living for the Night." It's with Yolanda. Yeah, it's wonderful. I love it. It has this special groove. It has this touch. Yes, I was looking for it since years, so yeah. Now in Berlin, where it's a little bit cold and grey and winter, but we all know the summer is coming back and we need some right records, and we get a little bit into the summer feeling, and there are actually some really old house classics where I got it. This is Mr. V Just Dance, which is like, oh yes, it's so good sometimes just to, especially also relaxing during all this hard and travel and busy schedule life, to just forget about yourself and spend hours in a record shop because it's so wonderful and so relaxing. And recharging, by the way. You're always a little bit stuck in your own bubble. That means you're always looking into the same sections, you're always looking to the same labels and to the same artist mostly, and then it's really refreshing if someone comes like, hey, you know what, I got this record, and like, what? And then, wow, this is cool.
Now we're in Christina. Fluke Bullet. Oh my god, this is like my personal classic.
There's so much music, I don't know how to keep up with everything.
Yes, this man is cool. In the early days, TVS1 would spend like days there, you know, there would be like a secret room. £50 unknown, no name records. I love it. If it doesn't intrigue you, then what will, you know? That was sick. That was a good digging session, for sure.